The higher self is uniquely yours. It's that unwavering, authentic source of clarity and insight that will help anchor your journey towards your highest destiny. Welcome to Intuition Unlocked, the podcast empowering empathic women who feel misunderstood, overwhelmed, or disconnected from their intuition, begin to trust their sensitivities, find inner clarity, and show up with embodied, unstoppable confidence in their daily lives. I am your host, Olivia Ashley, an empath and intuitive, and I am so happy you're here. Welcome to Intuition Unlocked. I'm your host, Olivia, and I am thrilled that you are joining in for an episode that's all about tapping into the most powerful part of who you are, your higher self. Today, we're diving deep into a subject that not only transforms how you perceive your inner guidance, but also how you step into your power and truth. By the end of this episode, you'll gain a deeper understanding of how building a relationship with your higher self can act as a key to strengthening your intuition and aligning you with the life you're meant to manifest. The distinct roles of your higher self, ego, intuition, and spirit guides, so you can clearly recognize and navigate their messages, and a simple and powerful guided exercise to help you directly experience this connection, which will allow you to embody and trust your higher self's wisdom. So let's get into it. And let's start with first understanding your higher self. So what exactly is the higher self? In spiritual traditions, the higher self is often described as your divine essence, the core part of you that exists beyond the ego and everyday identities. It's the part of you that knows your truth, your purpose, and your limitless potential that lies within. From an intuitive perspective, connecting with your highest self is often the first and most fundamental step to strengthening your inner guidance. Some even point to emerging research in quantum physics that suggests that our consciousness isn't confined by the physical body, hinting that this inner knowing might actually be a bridge to a greater universal intelligence. So we can use our intuition as a gateway to connect with our higher self and energy beyond. And your higher self often allows for a clear doorway to all those extrasensory experiences. It starts with your intuition, that ability to perceive and understand and know what is there. And then that connection to your highest self is an opening to these extrasensory experiences like channeling and direct communication with your guides. Your intuition plays a very big role in letting you do that. That's how you use your senses, like hearing or seeing or knowing and feeling. But your highest self, being your soul's essence, is going to allow you to tune in even on a deeper level. So you're essentially activating a radar that picks up subtle energies and messages that will enable you to navigate life with clarity and purpose. So your intuition and your highest self go hand in hand. And let's clarify this a little deeper and other terms that we often hear in this space so you get a really good understanding of what each of these things are and the roles they play. Specifically, higher self versus ego versus intuition and spirit guides or beings beyond. Let's start with your ego. Your ego is often shaped by societal conditioning and past experiences. It's a part of you that often speaks in fear or limitations, and it's going to keep those programmings replaying. Its role is to protect you, and it does that by maintaining the constructs of your current reality. And in contrast, your intuition is that inner quiet knowing, which sometimes carries the signature of your higher self, but often is bringing you quick, simple truths, knowing, and messages based on what you're perceiving and your senses. So your intuition is the sense and vehicle you use to connect to your higher self, while your higher self is the essence of your soul that is always available to you and is rooted in truth and love and higher understanding. And then there are spirit guides or energetic beings and aspects of universal wisdom that may offer advice or guidance. This guidance and connection comes from beings and energies outside of yourself that are interacting with you through your intuition on that energetic level. You're perceiving them, you're hearing them, you're connecting to them. There is a spectrum of beings as well. And that is why it's important to always have intention to maintain higher vibration as you attract where you are at, because there is always a spectrum of everything we can feel and interact with. So setting intention and grounding and using the exercise that I'll lead you throughout the end of this episode all can help deliver you to the right, more loving beings or energies. So while all of these different voices and messages of your ego or intuition or other beings can intermingle, the higher self is uniquely yours. It's that unwavering, authentic source of clarity and insight that will help anchor your journey towards your highest destiny. So understanding these differences is crucial. When you can start to distinguish between the conditioned chatter of your ego, the subtle whispers of your intuition, and the more powerful messages and knowing of your higher self, you can be empowered to make decisions that are aligned with your soul's truth and knowing. And maybe this seems very ethereal. Maybe this feels a little bit untethered or grounded, and yet it really is an embodied experience. It's somewhat hard to describe what it feels like to connect to your higher self, to work with your intuition, and to feel and understand what this all brings into one's life. I do my best to use words that really have impact and truth in the matter, and yet note that this experience is going to be different for each of you, that how you connect, how your intuition feels, how your higher self feels, and the modes or practices in which you connect to those things is unique to you. So always note that you get to find your truth within this. I can do my best to give you vocabulary and a clear understanding on a mental level what these things are. And yet intuition, spirituality, energy, all these things are very experiential. So I will give this caveat: take what resonates, explore on your own, and find your own language and understanding, because again, it's different for each of us. And when we say higher, I really see higher as being truth. It is a very clear and pure channel and essence of your soul that we can access. If you can imagine that we are a soul inside this body, well, there is also a tethering and a connection to where our soul came from and the higher soul and our higher self that visually I see beyond the earth, in the cosmos, from source, God, whomever that you connect to on that level. So bringing us back down, your higher self is going to enhance your intuition as it's now not only picking up what is going on this earthly realm, it is accessing information from your soul. And with your connection to your intuition and your higher self on the line now, it's like having a trusted inner compass that always is going to point you in the right direction. You might not listen to it, you might not always trust it, but it's going to be there to guide you. Even when the noise of everyday life tries to pull you off course, it's not that this is easy or now going to fix all your problems from having these connections. You still have to do the work. You still have to show up and make these decisions and live your life. But this is going to help you. It's going to give you an anchor and supportive guidance. So how can you begin to work with your higher self and let it strengthen your intuition? Well, connecting with your higher self is like building a relationship. It requires devotion, practice, and trust. The stronger this relationship becomes, the more natural it will be to hear, interpret, and begin to truly trust the guidance you receive. Your higher self is that divine aspect of you that exists beyond limitations of the physical world. It is the part of you that is always connected to truth, wisdom, and your soul's highest path. When you strengthen your connection to your higher self, you're naturally deepening your intuition, because intuition is the language through which your higher self communicates. It's all connected. And I want to talk about co-creation because it's really important in terms of how we work with this and what aspect and roles your highest self and intuition can play. So, co creation is the process of working in harmony with your higher self and the universe, God, source, to bring your desires and purpose into reality. Rather than forcing outcomes from a place of fear or control, co creation invites you to align with your soul's truth, your intuition, your heart, and take inspired action. So, the more you trust and strengthen your relationship with your higher self, the more clearly you can receive guidance and synchronicities and step into a flow where manifestation can happen with greater ease. And that's where intuition becomes a powerful bridge, allowing you to discern the next aligned step in your journey and discern what you're connecting to, who are you getting messages from, what feels right, what isn't true. So this foundational relationship with both your intuition and then your highest self starts to create a safe and clear channel for messages to come through, for connection to other energies, and navigating the vast experiences that can unfold when you open this doorway. Now, you don't have to want to connect with anything beyond your own intuition or your highest self. It just seems to be often what happens when you're in this space. There's a lot that wants to support us. There's a lot that wants to be there to hold you, such as a past loved one or an ancestor or an animal spirit that are like, hey, I have some knowledge for you. Let me make your life a little easier or help you grow. Because the whole reason I believe we are here is to help our soul evolve, to grow, to move through past life trauma and experiences, current life trauma and experiences, and still maintain strength and truth and be of service. So this work really starts to happen in stillness. You know this already if you've been listening. Your intuition needs stillness and quiet to begin to be heard, and your higher self is going to need the same because it communicates in the quiet spaces between your thoughts, which means practices like meditation, breath work, and mindful movement are going to help you attune to this frequency, to your frequency, right? This is your frequency. This is you are connecting to. So let's always make sure you're grounding it back to the reality that when I talk about these topics, this is you. So color it with your energy, your intuition, your higher self. And that's where the magic lies. So as you practice tuning in, because it truly is a practice, the more familiar this energy and your higher self becomes to you. And then the easier it is for you to distinguish it from the fear or the worry or the doubts that often can come from ego. Another way to deepen this connection is going to be through devotion and prayer. Devotion is not about rigid rituals, but it is about setting the intention to align with your intuition and your higher self daily. This could be through journaling. It could be through creating a sacred altar or space in your home, or simply taking a moment each morning to ask, how can I live in alignment with my highest self today? So trust yourself to know how to navigate this because it's going to be different for you. And note that it's going to speak in nudges and feelings or even synchronicities. The more you can acknowledge and act on the insights or welcome the guidance, set intentions to receive and connect, the more this will grow. So think of it as strengthening a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And I want to talk a little bit about how your higher self can help you manifest. I think that's in this sphere a lot of us are thinking about and talking about, how do we manifest? What's the list we're making? What's our truth? What do we want? How do we attain it? And I think that's a beautiful thing we can have and do in our life. Manifestation is wonderful and possible for all of us. And it's not just about visualization or affirmations or forcing something into being. It all comes from alignment. Your higher self operates from a place of absolute clarity and knowing, meaning that when you're in deep connection with this part of you, you are naturally aligned with the opportunities, people, and experiences meant for your highest good. And to me, that gives me a space to take a breath and trust that if I am in connection with myself, If I'm listening and trusting, then I have nothing to worry about. I will face challenges. I will come up against uncertainty. And yet, at its core, I am in alignment. And so, nothing that's meant for me will miss me. And I will know what I need to do when I need to do it. So, if you're struggling to manifest, it's often because there's a disconnect, whether it's limiting beliefs, fear, or an unwillingness to trust it. By strengthening your connection to your higher self, it will help you bypass the barriers that are holding you back and help you be more in a state of surrender and receptivity. So instead of pushing or forcing, you allow, which again is where the magic happens. It's beautiful. And I just want to share that I remember when I first began connecting with my higher self as a practice, firstly, it was uncomfortable. I was not quite sure of what this was or how is this really going to help. But once I got over those barriers and I began just trusting and letting those energies and that connection come forward, I began to feel a lot of peace, joy, and alignment within myself. It was like I had a cheerleader and an oracle all at once, letting me feel grounded and ready to take on my day, while also getting better understanding of my truth. It was like it cut the bullshit. It cut away my fears or limitations, like all the self-imposed pieces, and I could face my truth, my essence, who I really am. And it was a feeling. I could see them, but also it was a feeling of what that would look like. And so it was much easier to understand the direction I wanted to take in my life because I was looking in a mirror and I was receiving that state within my body. So then I could also take action, but also make those big decisions and feel worthy and supported to do so, to make my life feel better or more in alignment with where I wanted to go. So then I started to call in small manifestations. Maybe I wanted a free coffee or meet someone that was going to help support me in a certain way, to the bigger manifestations such as traveling on the road and making that happen, to securing a job, to finding our home. And I started to see them come when I needed them. I could think, I could dream, but I think the difference for me when I manifest is I know where I'm at, but until I'm really ready to take that step or facing it, it won't happen. But once I am and I say, yes, I'm clearly doing this and going for this, it's beautiful. Synchronicities align and signs are abundant and it always works out. So I learned that it really took my unwavering belief and faith on an idea and surrendering the rest up to make the doors open in ways I could never have orchestrated on my own. And that's where I see intuition, higher self, manifestation being really beautiful tools and potential for everyone to step into and have this be their norm, because I'm happier, I'm more grounded, I'm more connected because of this. And now I want to take you into a practice to help you embody this feeling and get you connected to your higher self. So if you have a moment to close your eyes and drop in, let's do it. If you need to pause and come back and listen to this later, here's the perfect place to do so. Either way, find a quiet, comfortable space where you won't be disturbed. Find that space, gently close your eyes, and take a slow, deep breath in, filling your lungs with calm, and exhaling, releasing any tension. Make sure if you have any wiggles you need to get out, you can do so, that your feet are planted on the ground and your hands find somewhere to settle. Now let's do this breath 2 more times. Filling your lungs with peace, bringing it in, and breathing out any tension or heaviness. One last time, inhaling peace and exhaling anything that no longer serves you. Now, with your imagination, with your intuition turned on, visualize yourself surrounded by a warm, radiant light. This light expands, wrapping around you like a cocoon of pure love and protection. Feel its warmth and presence, and know you are completely safe and supported. Now, drop into where your intuitive seat is. Maybe that's your gut, maybe that's your heart, maybe that's your third eye, wherever you feel like you connect to your intuition. And in that space, visualize yourself standing there, and a glowing doorway appears. It's shimmering with energy and possibility. Notice your door, the color, the make, the size, and know that this is your portal to your higher self, the truest, most authentic version of you. With each breath, set the intention that as you step through, you are opening a direct connection to your wisdom, clarity, and intuitive power. Now take a step closer and notice the sensations in your body. Reach for the door and gently open it, stepping through into a sacred sanctuary, one that exists just for you. Take a moment to notice what the space looks like. It may be a vast landscape, a glowing temple, a peaceful garden, or something completely different. You are the creator of this space, so feel its energy, the gentle hum of it, the stillness in your mind, the quiet certainty in your heart, and sense its presence that you've stepped into. Might be subtle, might be big, might have emotions tied to it. What colors do you see? What scents fill the air? What's in the background here? Is anyone else there with you? Let yourself fully arrive. This space is where you meet your higher self. Sometimes you might clearly see your higher self as another being, a mirror reflection of you that will have a different glow, an embodiment, a dress that is all uniquely itself, but you know it's you too. Other times, it's just the knowing that the space is the essence of your higher self. You've stepped into your most truest essence as a physical space, and it's created a container for you. This is the part of you that is deeply wise and infinitely loving. And here in this sanctuary, you can ask questions, receive insights, or simply be and bathe in the truth, or take in whatever it has to show you when you go into it that day. Again, notice if you're alone, or if you sense a presence or an energy or words of guidance forming in your mind. Trust whatever comes, knowing that this space is here for you to help you. You can spend a few more moments here, allowing yourself to absorb the connection, the energy, and that deep sense of trust. When you're ready to come out, take a deep breath and gently bring your awareness back to the present moment. You can watch yourself going back to the door, walking through it and closing it behind you, and then bring your awareness to the sensations of your body. You can wiggle your fingers and toes, roll your shoulders, and then when you're ready, you can open your eyes and know that you carry with you the energy of this experience. So this sanctuary is always available to you. This practice can be done at any time. You can repeat it and you can just walk through the steps in your own simplified way to drop in and connect. You can return here whenever you need clarity, guidance, or a moment of peace, or if you're just wanting to connect. And over time, this space may shift in form or feeling. It will reflect your growth and evolution, but it will always be an anchor. It will always be there for you to bring you back to center, to meet with a guide, to meet with your own intuition and get the wisdom of your heart and of your higher self. Today, we explored the transformative power of connecting with your higher self. You learned that your higher self is not only the embodiment of your divine essence, but it is also the foundation for strengthening your intuition and manifesting your dreams. We distinguished this inner voice from the conditioned chatter of the ego and emphasized the importance of trust and devotion in building this sacred relationship. By aligning with your higher self, you open the doorway to deeper clarity, greater opportunities, and a life that flows with ease and purpose. If this episode resonated with you, please take a moment to follow the podcast, leave a rating, and share a review as a way to share your gratitude for these episodes with me. Your support means the world to me, and I'm so grateful you're here listening, pressing play, and working on yourself. It does not go unnoticed, and I cannot wait to hear all the beautiful things that happen when you begin working with your higher self. Until next time, keep trusting your intuition and stepping boldly into your light and your life. Thank you for joining me on Intuition Unlocked. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of insight, guidance, or intuitive inspiration. To dive deeper into our community and get access to exclusive content, head to my website at www.olivia-ashley.com and subscribe to my newsletter. You can also connect with me on Instagram at wildlyolivia for daily inspiration and updates. Remember, your intuition is your superpower. Trust it, nurture it, and let it guide you. Until next time, I'm Olivia Ashley, and I can't wait to connect with you again.